Hello and welcome to another episode of Cinematic Anarchy, the podcasting equivalent of being about as anatomically impaired as a Ken doll. Joining me today for the podcast, my co-host Christian. And
Hello.
would you like to introduce our other guests, seeing as I am now just familiarizing myself with your partner here?
Yeah. So joining us today is going to be Zahra, our
Hi,
resident
everyone.
Catholic. And we're excited to have her on the pod today.
And and Kris McMenamin from the Misfits film. I was having you introduce both.
Designatingly not Catholic.
Right. Resident non-Catholic.
Well, I am residing within that area as well because
And so am I.
I was raised by somebody that broke from, well, not Catholicism, but Christianity, and raised me agnostic. So
it's like One Saved and the Heathens. Is that the name of the new name of the podcast?
Yeah.
probably.
Right, yeah.
I don't think anybody's saving me anytime soon. I have a quick trip down south coming to me, I think. And if you can't tell, today we're going to be discussing Kevin Smith's film Dogma. Before we really get into things, Kris, if you'd just like to tell folks about your recent film that we actually watched, I believe, one episode back.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just released a couple months ago, Misfits. It is available on Amazon Prime. It has a very Kevin Smithy dialogue feel to it. So, there's connections. But about a man who is recently widowed, and his friends and family come back and kind of full house it and help him in a incredibly unhinged but very heartfelt way. So it is available now. I encourage people to rent or buy it if possible. Help support the script I was just writing before I got on here.
Yeah. On Prime Video, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So go find it. Give it a watch. It's a good time.
Do you have a physical media release coming out at any point?
So I was looking into the ones that don't require me to have stock, because my wife would not want me to have boxes of Blu-rays around the house. So that is potentially in the future. We might put up a pre-order just so I don't want to put out have 1,000 copies like that person that has their own autobiography like stacked in the corner of their office.
Right. I mean, if you can't tell, I'm a bit of a physical media geek. I have like 3 copies of Dogma sitting right next to me right now. So
Okay. Yeah, I was
My
going to
wife
ask.
is currently determining if which steelbook was the one that she wanted to get. She has the same affliction. We have every copy of Jaws that has ever been released.
Nice.
So,
right.
You are sitting behind what seems to be a signed poster, so
it was one of my better Christmas gifts.
Right.
It's a good one.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, so Kris, I was going to ask if you had any physical copies of Dogma, because from what I understand, those are, or at least were, pretty hard to come across.
Not anymore.
They were very rare
Yeah.
because it was tied up with the whole Weinstein thing.
Yeah.
For a very long time. So yes, we actually have one original copy of the DVD version of Dogma.
Mm-hmm.
But we're now deciding which of the very beautiful steel books will grace the shelf next to I think from Hollywood Video when it closed. We have that might be one of them. Yeah, no, our DVD copy still has the sticker with the barcode on it
Nice.
from the fire sale when they closed.
I think I got that backwards in the case, actually.
There you go.
I ended up getting this because this is the one that I remembered most. I ended up losing it in a move and then purchasing it again recently because they put out the 4K Blu-ray, and all those went from being like $300 a piece because you couldn't find them anywhere down to like $20. It's like, yeah, now I'll pick it up because I just couldn't justify a $300 copy of a DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So, but I purchased it because one of the Easter eggs in there is just this Christian woman, just berating you every time you went from screen to screen, like, you're going to hell, don't watch this, take the DVD out, have all of your friends buy copies of the DVD, then cut them up and burn them, you know? So, and then I realized after getting the 4K that all that stuff's in there, so I kind of mindlessly spent $20 for no reason. So I don't have to go
Happens to
screen
the
to
best of
screen. They
us.
have all the church ladies stuff in like one little Easter egg. So
That's kind of funny.
if you don't mind me asking, what is everybody's first experience with this film?
Well, we can go because it's easy,
Mhm.
right? You know, you came to me and was like, "Hey, we're gonna do Dogma." I'm like, "Great, I'll watch Dogma," and so I did.
Well, that was simple.
And
Yeah.
and then he literally was like, "Hey, I think you would find this interesting." And I was like, "Okay." Sat down to watch it, had no idea. He's like, "Oh, it's got something to do with like religion. I think you'd find it interesting." I'm like, "Okay."
Just something, a little bit.
No, literally no idea what I was getting myself into before watching it.
I watched it as a kid. Oh, well, kid. I'll say like a teenager type of thing where it fit my rebellious anti-authority
Mhm.
feel. And I remember especially being in Philly, and Kevin Smith is, New Jersey, is that Kevin Smith was around at that time in a way that he probably isn't now. He's obviously, I assume, out in LA somewhere, but we we drove by one of the protests of it,
Mm.
and
Was it the protest?
I don't think it's the one that I don't know if it's the one he snuck into, but I know it was there were many, especially there's sections of New Jersey that are very weirdly like are Hasidic Jew. So very, very and even they were protesting. So like near Brick, New Jersey and stuff like that. But we went through and of course being like 18, 19, you gave all the protesters the finger.
Yeah.
I think my first experience with the film now, I have, depending upon her mood and what particular film I've showed her, I've either joyously had her watch or tortured her with several Kevin Smith films. So there's some that she really loved and some that she just did not like at all. And so this one came about around the same time of the the birth of my daughter. And I was working at the now defunct Borders Books and Music, and I ended up picking up a copy. And then a friend of mine subsequently got fired for picking up a copy. So that was my first experience with Dogma, was on DVD, and having a friend of mine want to watch it, but having spent much of his paycheck on other things, decided maybe I can just take one home with me. And
I mean, that's how we all wear our retail jobs. You gotta tell me that there's someone that didn't lift something from a retail job?
I'd like to plead the fifth on that one. All I'll say is I remember after leaving that job about a year later, being greeted outside of that job, walking by, and some guy just, "Hi, are you Kris?" And I looked at him like, "Yeah." He goes, "Would you mind coming inside for a minute and having a talk with me?" "No, I'm a little busy. Talk to you later." And
Nothing good can come from this.
No.
random guy in a suit walking out of a store that I used to work in, saying, "Let's come inside and sit down and talk for a minute." "Yeah, I think I'm good. I appreciate it." Whatever it was, he wasn't really trying to strong arm me into the building. So,
Right.
and
Well,
that's all I'll
see,
say.
All right, that's where you have the balloon. You say, "You're our millionth customer. Come with me for your prize."
Guess what you've won? That mailing that what is it? The lottery that they caught a whole bunch of
Publishers
Clearinghouse.
the Publishers
yeah.
Clearinghouse. They caught a whole bunch of people for, I don't know what it was though. It was some sort of fraud or something. They just caught a whole bunch of people and
Oh, it was child support.
child support. Okay.
Yeah, they would deadbeats. They would tell them they won and have them come in and then be, by the way, you haven't paid child support in several years.
I vaguely remember the method, not the reason. So either way, I mean, like, if you see like 500 people all showing up to the winning of the Publishers Clearinghouse, like, don't they come to your door with a check, not ask you to come to some random building attached to the police station?
Yeah, where's Ed McMahon?
He's over by the local penitentiary. If you could just go meet them at the front, they'll
Just
give you
swing
your
by.
check.
Door-to-door service.
We'll even buy you some new clothes. Don't worry. So, this film in general, I really do enjoy. I think this is probably the peak, I want to say, of Kevin Smith before his film started. I don't want to say lowering in quality. It's varying quality after then, because you had like Clerks, Mallrats. I'm not sure. Did Clerks 2 didn't come out before this? I think it was after, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think you got Chasing Amy. Then I think you have Dogma, Clerks, or Jersey Girl, Clerks 2, I think would probably be the order. I'll be honest, I'm a huge Jersey Girl fan, so we'll call that my, where it becomes a mixed bag sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm about half and half with Jersey Girl. I apologize. I don't like to shit on movies that people love, but I think it's just because I don't really have all that great of an attachment to anything that Ben Affleck stars in.
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, outside of maybe Good Will Hunting, I really liked that. I definitely liked him in this film.
Yeah, his chemistry with Matt Damon was great. From what I understand, actually, Smith got them into the roles before Good Will Hunting, had come out. So there was some good luck there, and I think it really helped, like, bring some interest into the movie, having names that were relatively big. And this, from what I understand, is one of his bigger casts, right? We have Selma Hayek, we have Matt Damon, Chris Rock is great, Alanis Morissette, Alan Rickman,
George Carlin as Cardinal Glick. I mean, that's what sold me on this movie, George Carlin, and the Buddy Christ.
Well, yeah, I had watched like a couple minutes of the film and had just gotten through the George Carlin, intro sequence. And that's when I paused and I was like, all right, Zahra would probably enjoy watching this with me. And that's when, I transitioned from office to living room with the film.
So, little known fact, I lived in Athens, Georgia. And just outside of Athens, Georgia, there is a Universalist Unitarian church that has a full-sized statue of the Buddy Christ in their church on the stage.
No way.
Yes.
I love that. That is fantastic.
So I saw that when I moved down there. It was like, okay, if I'm going to go to church, this is the place that I'm going to. I'm not going to the one that has to remind me every time I go that we need to burn the witches.
Yeah.
Or we need to tithe to pay people for God knows what.
I don't mind tossing a little bit into the collection plate every once in a while.
Yeah.
I just
I don't mind once in a while, but whenever you toss it in and then they're like, oh, this is going to go to some kind of sketchy situation, and you're like, oh.
It has to go to the relocation fund.
Yes. Or the, oh, this is going to go to the pro-life movement. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
My experience with religion in the South, now I did look for a decent church, but my experience goes right along with a famous saying of George Carlin's, there is entirely too much religion in the South to be consistent with good mental health.
That's a good.
And I mean, between the one that constantly reminded us, like, every time that we went, that you have to burn the witches, and the one that felt that everybody flanking the pastor on stage and was passing around the collection plate also had to be heavily armed. Yeah.
Wow.
We fell into the Universalist Unitarian Church down there, which felt a little bit more comfortable. They had like a drum circle. It was very like, let's talk about God, but not necessarily the God. Let's just talk about that in general, the subject of. So.
Yeah, I love the Unitarian Universalists. A lot of them, like, they're very open, very kind, very giving. I love that, like, each week it's something new. Like, it's like, okay, we're going to take from this religious text and this religious text. And it gives you, it's more of an idea of like God, which I think relates to this movie because we use varying pronouns for God, which I loved seeing that in the film. That was fantastic. And I think as I consider myself a cafeteria Catholic, and I have a lot of friends who are cafeteria Catholics. A lot of
For those of us
women,
who don't know, like
a
me,
cafeteria Catholic is when you kind of pick and choose what you're willing to believe from the church. So you're not, ride and die everything that the church says. I'm going to have to go by, the book released by the church. You pick and choose what you want. For example, you could be a pro-choice Catholic, which, seems like an oxymoron, but there's actually a lot of us out here in that realm. There's also people who just go to church on Easter and Christmas. They're the Christers is what we call them. The
The
Christmas Easter
Christers?
people. The Christers.
Sounds like a terrible name for like a superhero group based on
Yeah.
religion, the Christers. yes.
Right?
That's what I was as a kid with my parents. Was very much the Christmas Easter. We were Lutheran, so like
Okay.
much more mild version. But like what you're saying though is like one of the things I do love about this movie is the varying pronouns for God, but also like the whole speech about God is whatever. Like it's more about spirituality than
Yeah.
anything else, and it's about believing in something bigger. It doesn't have to be that physical
Yeah.
being. The whole speech about none of the religions are right. Pieces of all of them are
It's
right.
not about what you believe, it's that
Exactly.
you believe.
yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
And Kevin Smith, like in writing this and making this, was practicing, Catholic, and it wasn't meant to be it's not criticizing religion, right? It's criticizing a lot of the structure around religion and a lot of the misogyny and racism and whatever that like people kind of ascribe to the Bible when a lot of that's coming from people's interpretation and not the text itself. So you can see, right, like he is going about it in a, I would say, pretty respectful way, but pointing out some of the, flaws, changes,
Hypocrisies.
whatever's,
Yes.
yeah, outside of all the protests, this movie is really a little bit more religion positive than it is negative.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I watch it and I feel as someone more spiritual-ish, not really committed to anything at this point. 40 years in, I think I'll just remain independent. But watching the movie, I have more general faith than before going into it. I think it's very pro spirituality. It just, it finds the humor and the hypocrisies of the organized religion.
Yeah.
100%. And that's one thing I loved about the film, because as we are getting into a world where more people are considering themselves spiritual versus religion because of the constructs of organized religion, and seeing we're poking fun at the stuff within organized religion that it's a little ridiculous or a little silly. And I really loved that. Like the name itself, Dogma, actually refers to the four dogmas of the Catholic Church, which are principles involving Mary, who, if you didn't grow up Catholic, you may not understand kind of some of the things that they were discussing in the film. But Mary was born pure, which means that she had no sin. She was born without sin. She was immaculately conceived. Her son was immaculately conceived. She was a divine mother, the mother of God. And then additionally, when she died, her body was ascended into heaven. So the name Dogma itself is playing on this term of, but if you think about 2,000 years ago, what woman is going to be married to a man and never consummate the marriage? That's never the
definitely pointed
realisticness
that
of
out.
that.
Yeah.
And I loved that. That is one thing that I loved about that film, that me personally, I questioned that as a teenager, being like, why doesn't Jesus have any brothers or sisters? And being told, well, how could you say that? That like questions like Mary as a pure person. And that was, I think, one for me. Like, I think I was 11 asking this question and being like, this doesn't quite make sense, like in a little bit of a way, but still thinking. So I loved that. I love that part of the film where they brought that up.
I'm a little ill prepared to talk about this part, honestly, but there is a comedian, and I'll have to look the name up afterwards, that mentioned like how long was the argument after Mary found out that she was pregnant? Like, that you think there was no questions whatsoever? Wait, well, let me get this straight. You're pregnant, yes, and it's the Son of God, yes. What? I don't think the argument just ends there. There had to have been a very lengthy discussion that nobody's talking about.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, typically women would be stoned to death for getting pregnant before a marriage, because technically she wasn't married, she was betrothed when she was pregnant with Jesus. And I'm thinking there is a whole piece that we're missing here about how that happened, besides an angel coming to Joseph and being like, by the way, this is real. And everyone's just okay with it because, there's the sexism part of, okay, now the husband says it's okay, so everyone's fine.
I believe there's 18 years and 9 months worth of missing conversation there.
We have one thing of, I love that they talked about, okay, we see him at 12 years and then we don't see him again till he's 30. What happened in that time frame?
It's like, we
I would like, I think a lot of people would like to know.
How did he get to where he was? Like, how did he become this, well, savior, so to speak? I mean, it had to have been on Mary and Joseph, but we don't want to talk about how he was raised, how he was brought up, who brought him up.
We don't discuss, I think there's also, a lot of conspiracy theory, of course, as always, if you think there's lots of conspiracy theories. But the fact that if we talk more about it, there may be discussion of siblings, or like how many siblings did he have, or what did he do, or the things that, right, any kid, Jesus was a kid just like the rest of us, even though he was also God, he was also a kid, and kids do, funny things, and what's going on in there, right? Like I think it would help.
Pranks.
Right, pulling pranks, all that stuff. People would like to hear about that, but we're given text.
So we can't talk about those 30 years because he definitely did something in those 30 years that by their own religion, no, this guy should be going to hell right now.
Well, yeah. And with what he was preaching, his super commie parents teaching him type of thing.
Right.
You're saying he didn't go to a couple protests, cause some trouble?
Yeah.
Well, and this movie's conception of hell is really interesting too, right? Like they're sort of the Jason Lee character Azrael. There was a deleted scene, I guess, that didn't make it in, but he has this sort of monologue where he's talking about, hell is just like the total absence of God's love, and that it turned into this fire and brimstone because that's what man believed, to like create this fear and like sense of punishment, instead of like feeling like you have to absolve your sins or whatever. So I thought that conception was really interesting, coming from like the outside perspective, because in media and what you hear about religion and stuff, hell is the fire and brimstone.
I think there's the subtext, because it also kind of circles back towards the end, when you get the Alan Rickman, like the God is what you want it to be, or what you believe in, is that hell's the same kind of deal. It's the same side of the coin, is that, we filled in a bunch of details that, if it happened in whatever way that somebody came down with the tablets and all that jazz, a book was written and a bunch of filler was put in. The AI of the time of, here, let's just give it to a bunch of priests and let them write some stuff.
Right.
But like, both heaven and hell, it's just the existence or non-existence of some of the spiritual being that gives you faith and hope. And I think that's a really poetic way to put it. Fire and brimstone, is, let's be honest, it's a little cliched at this point.
Right.
So
Yeah.
one of the
Or
things
even
that
think.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was
Uh,
going to go off on a whole different tangent. If you're talking about this, keep going.
yeah, like thinking about too how, back in the days, the Middle Ages, a lot of art and stuff was done depicting hell. People were very illiterate. And fire and brimstone is easy to make into art. And now,
Rather than the absence of God's,
right? How do you
eternal
like paint the absence of God's love, right? Versus like, oh, we can show you what fire and brimstone and like the devil's crawling out of like caves looks like.
You don't even have to make art back then. You just need to build a bonfire. Tell the kids, stand near that. See how hot that is? Now imagine standing in it for the rest of your life. There you go.
Yeah, existential dread is something for us in modern times, not so much medieval times. They had more concrete problems. But it's also, it comes into where a lot of religion over the, as long as it's been around, there's been positive uses where it's very much about having faith and having hope. But there's also been a ton of, very controlling, very like punishment, negative driven. If you do this, you go to hell. If you do that. And it was also a way to kind of control those, uneducated masses is, you don't pay your taxes to the Lord, you go to hell. You don't get married and make more kids, you go to hell. It the throughout history, like you really had two sides of religion. You had the more people that were hope and faith based, like Jesus, or you had very like, fire and brimstone preachers.
It seems to change from preacher to preacher what that opinion is too. But I was going
based on what their goal is.
Well, I was going to say, like at the beginning of the film, when you have Bartleby and Loki talking about plenary indulgence and so on and so forth, and he brings up the one thing that I think is probably the most conceited thing we may have enforced in the Bible is what you hold true on earth, I will hold true in heaven. Basically, meaning that we dictate what he does, which is no, I won't. I can't get behind that idea. It's like, well, yeah. So, this, and this is because we said it, and now he has to do it.
And I think there's justification, like people justifying their own actions for that, right? People in charge using that as, well, potentially what I say down here is also the same in heaven.
Well,
right? That is so conceited.
And that's also why Azrael is like so pissed and is like, fuck it, I'm going to blow everything up, right? Because people changed what the experience of hell was. And he's like, yeah, I can't, I would rather not exist than be here for an eternity.
Even Azrael was not going back to that. He's like, no, I'd rather not go back to hell. I'd rather have everything unmade before we do that again.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, have you guys ever been to the Newark airport?
No.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
No. So they're not wrong. Existence should probably just end if you have to be there the entire time.
So that's essentially just outside of the ninth circle.
Yeah, exactly. It's adjacent.
Right.
You take the flight into the ninth circle from
This
there.
is ninth circle adjacent. Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, all in all, I like the message of the film. I'm still agnostic. It didn't change my opinion anyway, one way or the other, but
good to know that Wisconsin is worse than hell, though.
Yeah, I wonder how those Green Bay fans feel about that. It's like Newark Airport, just outside the ninth circle. Wisconsin apparently is the ninth circle, at least. So
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I heard about, like, he was telling me, I'm like, oh, I'm sure there was like a ton of protests and stuff for this. But at the end of the day, like, it truly was, as we said, pretty like positive, religiously positive. But I think for people who are very much strict to their faith, there's so many things called into question. You have to laugh at the situation. Like you have to be able to have some I would say like open eyes and laugh a little bit. You know,
Yeah, there's humility to it that you have to be like,
there
I don't
is.
know everything, but
Right.
I think a lot of, especially, I mean, I think it's anyone that's extreme in their position in anything is
Yes.
when it becomes, when your idea or faith or, you know, hatred or bigotry is your identity.
Yeah.
It's not
Exactly.
that you can't be open about it because it's the only thing that defines you. When that's the only
Exactly.
part of you, that being the church lady or being the whatever is the thing that you wake up every morning and you put your little pin on, that
Yeah.
as soon as someone makes fun of it, instead of being like, oh, there's humor, it's funny, that's a good point. Maybe they're,
Right.
maybe Jesus was black. You
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it immediately attacks your ideals, and that, which means it attacks you. So you
Right.
defend in a irrational way.
Considering
Well,
where
and the
most of the Bible. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, right, like what this movie is questioning is a lot of those details. It's not questioning Catholicism, right? Like in this film's
Right.
universe, like that is what is, right? It is Catholicism. So it's not even a questioning of like that religion. It's a questioning of the details that have gotten, confounded and changed and manipulated over time.
Let's just say what it is. It's been whitewashed.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the Bible took place where it did, and that apparently everybody in the Bible is white. Like all the apostles are white, Jesus is white. Their version of God, I'm guessing, is the big white guy that looks like Zeus with the bushy beard.
Well, there was
Yeah.
the country club over there in the Middle East back then, right? There was just a country club on the side, lots of golf shirts. That's where all the apostles came from, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the Jerusalem Country Club. Yeah.
Tons of sand traps.
That's basically what these folks in the Middle East did. It's like, we don't understand how these people are surviving in this country without any melanin whatsoever. They must be products
There's
of God.
so many swim shirts over there.
It's like, how do you not burn out here? You must be something divine,
I think that's probably the only argument I will accept, that maybe Jesus was white because it'd be divine not to burn over there.
we had the loaves and the fishes. We had walking on water, and obviously we didn't burn in the hot Middle Eastern sun.
No.
That's
no sunburn.
He's perpetually SPF 100.
right. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about, why did he never burn in the sun if he was that white? Yeah,
Just did the cross thing, and like a little shield comes over.
It's got just a dome over him or something to that nature. I resided, like I said, in Georgia for about 12 years, so I dealt with both the good and the bad of religion. We had the Universalist Unitarians, and then we also had like a division of the Westboro Baptist Church down there, where
Oh boy.
we'd go to like a Georgia Bulldogs game down there because we were like in the Athens area, and we'd just see these people marching up and down the way, and I always tried to wrap my mind around how people could take something that's basically I want to say most of the ideals behind religion is supposed to be about universal love and acceptance, and take that and twist it into, but only for a very small group, and everybody else should be approached with hatred. I don't understand.
My goal in life is to do something significant enough that they protest me.
and then you can show up and blend in, right?
Oh,
right. Exactly. Just stand in the background. Yeah, no, I don't understand why we're protesting here at all, but I'm with you guys. Yeah. No idea.
Well, of course, Kevin Smith did that with this film. There are YouTube clips of him talking about it. He made a sign that said "Dogma is dog shit," and we're out there with the 15 other people, who were twice his age protesting the film.
Have you seen the movie? No, but I hear it's very, very bad.
Right.
Very bad. Terrible people.
Yeah, got on the news with it. yeah.
So you have
What a
any like
time that would be.
favorite or like any favorite scenes throughout the film? Anything in particular that stands out?
So for me, so I have a couple. The one is towards the beginning when Jay and Silent Bob save Bethany from the hockey demons. And like she's like afraid that they're there because she works in the like a Planned Parenthood type clinic. And Jay, the most misogynistic, stupid characters, like we don't give a shit what woman's choice, it's her body type of thing,
Right.
and affirming that like in the beginning to set that tone, but to have Jay say it is such a stroke of genius. Like any other character, it's just a nuanced view. For Jay, it's just something like, I mean, I guess he's not that awful.
Right.
Like,
Well-
but I love that they just come out and Jay and Silent Bob basically just beat the shit out of demons with zero problems.
He says that, but it's also the same character that in the same film says, I was just around an abortion clinic because we figured the chicks were easy. You know?
Real loose. Yeah.
Still, I say he's misogynistic, but at least he's
very
he's pushing the
single-minded.
line. Yeah.
And like that contrast, I think, is what makes the line so stark and makes you like really points out the values of the movie. Because if it was just some random character saying, it's like, okay, great, but we kind of know Jay already from our previous films that he's been in. So yeah, having that like kind of already established character just saying that very matter of factly was great.
Yeah, I don't
like it's not even a question.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the thing is like it's not even a negotiable. It's like the movie putting out the table stakes ahead of time. Like, if you're not going to agree with the statement that Jay says here, you might as well turn it off because the movie's only going to get worse for you.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, 100%.
I think this film they turned the Jay and Silent Bob characters up to 11 because from my memory, like even in Mallrats or Clerks, I don't think Jay said that much that was that misogynistic. I think it was more just very kind of side street suburbia dealer centric.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was just childish. Like he's basically, even in Clerks, he's like what, maybe early 20s, but like he's basically the entire time he is never not like a 14-year-old dumb boy.
Yeah.
For like the existence of everything that is Jay and Silent Bob. He's the guy that giggles when you say boobies.
Right. Or he giggles when he says boobies.
Yeah, that's exactly.
He says it and then giggles directly there afterwards. Yeah, it's. I think I liked pretty much anything that Loki and Bartleby was in the film, but I also liked that even in the background, Kevin Smith was paying attention to details. So when they get onto that little the moving sidewalk in the airport, and in the background you have the nun that they had just basically convinced to give up her religion. She's coming out of the bar with a beer above her head and a cigarette in the other hand. Just, I don't know what she's praising at that point. She's just reaching her hands to the sky, and they're trying to convince her to give the beer back.
Yeah, that
Well,
like
and I
conveyor
think-
belt scene early on in the airport. There are a lot of those fun details. I didn't finish it, but I started to watch the movie with the commentary track. There were two. There was one with like cast and crew, and then one with Kevin Smith and some of the producers talking about more of the like technical stuff. But yeah, they talked about all those little background details.
I can also appreciate the Golgothan shit demon.
Yes.
And how easy it was to dispatch.
Yeah, that was funny. I thought that was such a good way too of like being like, oh, here's like a modern day rendition of like a demon from hell. Like, I just thought that was very creative. What a great idea.
The excremental.
The excremental.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Who was voiced by Ethan Suplee.
Of course, Ethan's got to be in this.
Yeah. Which, right, Jason Lee, of course, him and Ethan Suplee did My Name is Earl together, so that was great.
Well, they were also in Mallrats.
Mallrats
Yeah.
together. Yeah, the guy that couldn't get the 3D picture to work for him the entire
It's one of my
film.
favorite recurring bits that they keep hitting every time in Mallrats. They keep going back to it.
Ugh.
I think they even brought it up in like a future, I forget what movie, but like
It was one of
they
the
had him in it.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back movies or something like that.
Yeah. But I think that the fun thing was you're getting like the runtime's getting pretty long. You got this big demon that comes out, and then how are we gonna fight this thing?
Yeah.
Quick joke, done.
Right.
Your threat, it's not the actual threat.
Right. Well, I mean, even the actual fighting that happens, they don't show you anything. It cuts to expressions of each of the individual characters watching the fight going on. They're like up, down, left, right. Oh my God, it's
Well, and I think it helps because there was always going to be the Superman problem. If you made it like a fight, like a climactic fight at the end, you have the Superman problem of like godlike beings, mortals.
Right.
Like, short of like doing some kind of crazy Avengers teamwork thing, getting the reaction, getting the laugh while acknowledging that there's fighting occurring makes it more interesting than if you had tried to watch like, Jay and Silent Bob throw punches at an angel, an all-powerful angel.
I'm trying to find this guy's name because I have two quick points that I want to make about that one scene. Number one, the lead gangster in that scene, which basically the strip club with the Golgoth and shit demon, that's the entire gang gets taken up. But the lead gangster was also in Chasing Amy. So he went from playing a super effeminate character in Chasing Amy to the lead gangster in this film. And I want to know why he hasn't done more. I haven't seen him in a lot of other stuff, but he's a pretty versatile actor. That being said, this is also a scene that kind of I like Kevin Smith for one thing. It's not that I don't like to hear him talk because I enjoy a lot of his podcasts, the Smodcast stuff that he does, but he does a lot with just his expressions, his facial expressions as Silent Bob. That's more humorous, I personally think, than most of what comes out of Jason Mewes' mouth. So just his reactions to like everything that Jay says. It's like I'm not watching Jay when he's doing the snooch to the nooch or whatever stuff that he does. I like his hatness says Snoogans the entire time.
It does.
I think the whole bit with the Jay and Silent Bob is very like, I mean, I guess it's why like the Three Stooges or like Chaplin work is that like it's playing off of Chaplin was like the environment, but like the Three Stooges, it's playing off of each other. I don't think either's particularly going to be funny if you don't have the other piece.
Right.
Like it's a two-man act, and they kick back and forth. Like Silent Bob is generally the straight man in that, and the point is that he's silent, and the other one's so ridiculous. But then but if you notice, like whenever in any of the Kevin Smith Askew-averse movies, when Silent Bob talks, you know what follows after? It's typically a serious note from Jay.
Right.
And I think that it's such a good dynamic because I think it makes both things that aren't super funny on their own very funny, but it's only because of the interplay between the two things.
I mean, it's almost like a Penn and Teller kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
Like they are playing off of each other, and in isolation, it just wouldn't work as well.
I mean, exhibit number one, any solo project that either one of them have ever done, really.
Yeah, no, they weirdly need each other to make it work.
I mean, like Catch and Release, I didn't really like Kevin Smith solo, and I'm trying very, very hard to think of anything Jason Mewes has done solo that I've watched, or I've liked or remember that I watched. I know I've watched some things. I can't remember the names.
Yeah, the only thing that I forget what it was. It was the horror movie in the bar, but he wasn't in it that long. That he played himself, but he died very, very quickly. I forget what it was, but that was
He
good. But
wasn't
he was
in
really just a cameo.
he wasn't in one of the Feast movies, was he?
Trying to think because they're in the bar almost the entire thing, and yeah, no, I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's like now I'm over here just scanning it off to the side, like, what was it? Because I know I've seen
He's
movies with him in it, but everything that it says known for under his IMDb, it's all of Kevin Smith's movies. Known for this, and this. And then he may also have
Well,
been
and I
in.
think that kind of ran into that. Kevin Smith was very much about his people. So he brought along people that were not what you would call, other than the fact that he knew like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, generally a lot of his people were not trained actors. From Clerks, like you have, so they didn't work in a ton of other stuff because it was sometimes when you don't have, and I guess this is from some of my experience too, is when you don't have someone that might be a general actor, but they fit in the thing that you wrote specifically for them.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think he even pretty much gave Ben Affleck his start, didn't he? I mean, wasn't that one of his first roles in Mallrats, if I'm not mistaken? It's a
Well,
very early
so
role, anyway.
one of his earlier, I guess we'll call it, I think, an adult role. I think Ben Affleck did like terrible commercials and like little things.
He was also one of the basketball players in like Teen Wolf too, I think.
Yeah, like he was doing stuff, but he didn't get anything where it was like an actual, role for. And I think Kevin Smith kind of kicked him up, especially in Mallrats, to like he's not necessarily leading, but like very like pushed him out of that being like the teen, the kid, the thing, and made him like gave him what would be considered an adult role.
So I'm going to correct myself during the same episode because my friend Piper will never forgive me for mistaking his role from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like the movie. It was that scene where the vampire is on the court with him and he just bares his fangs and takes the ball from him. So that was like his bit cameo. I don't think he said anything. It was just a reaction to and yes, it was The Feast.
Okay.
With
yeah.
Eric Dane, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So yeah, he played something. I think it wasn't even his own name. He went under Edgy Cat in that film.
Yeah, but it was him.
It was him. Every movie that he's in, he's basically playing himself. There's not a lot of versatility. It's like, let's see if we can put Jay in this film without Silent Bob,
Right.
We need that same energy. We need the Jason Mewes energy.
Oh, well, I'm remembering.
I'll take, if I get that much money for being me. Nobody wants to pay me that much for being me.
I am remembering too that they had Mewes and Smith cameo in Scream 3, where they were Jay and Silent Bob, which I always forget about.
It's because you generally forget about Scream 3.
Well, yeah. It's not the one that I revisit.
I think they did a cameo as themselves in Degrassi as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, that was a quality paycheck right there. That wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to have this, Shakespearean moment. It was like, oh, that's a lot of zeros.
Yeah.
Still waiting for this one to come out. Sorry, I'm off in my own world here. I need to hop off of IMDb and get back to actually paying attention to what we're talking about. So I saw like Moose Jaws out of the corner of my eye, which is supposed to be coming out for him, but
Kris, podcast Kris, Cinematic Anarchy Kris, did you have a favorite scene?
I think I was just mentioning a couple of my favorite scenes. It's tough to pick a favorite scene in this film because comedically, like I said, this was like peak Kevin Smith. He had a lot of money for this film to work with. I think he wanted to do a few things, and this was the film that was it out of Lionsgate?
Yeah.
Shortly before going to Miramax and committing a deal with them that kind of strapped him to a few things that he didn't want to do, like Cop Out. he did that film, but that was not something he wanted to do. It was sort of part of his contract. But comedically, this is like high-end Kevin Smith. What would Kevin Smith do with way too much money to put a movie together?
Right. And a lot of talent, right? Like he's working with some really notable actors.
Right. It's
Yeah.
Kevin Smith
Well,
dream
and he also-
casting.
Yeah, and it's all the people that you can write the role. Like he was able to get people that are very much specifically the role that they were in. Like Chris Rock is basically doing a specific Chris Rock stand-up, just written by Kevin Smith, but it's in Chris Rock's voice.
Right.
Yeah.
You have George Carlin essentially stepping in as the thing that he specifically makes fun of in all of his stand-ups. And then you got like Alan Rickman. Like, how cool would it be to have gotten Alan Rickman? Because that whole role is very Shakespearean as the Metatron, you know, the voice of God.
Right.
And he's the only one that like tries to demand respect, and he keeps getting kicked down by everybody.
I think that they were very close to not getting Alan Rickman for this film, and it just kind of fell together. Like he was supposed to be attached to something else, and it was pretty close that they actually weren't going to be able to get him in the film. And again, this is one of those things that I'm kind of talking out of the side of my head for, because I know that I had the information somewhere, but where it is right now, I don't know. But no, I mean, him as the Metatron in general, there's a reason I mentioned that at the head of the podcast. Like that whole scene in the beginning where he introduces himself to Bethany was probably one of the best bits in the film. Just, oh, all right, I'm the one that's soaked in this girl's surly.
Yeah. Well, it like every and because it goes back and said so essentially.
Yeah,
and
right.
and I think it at the end of the day, it's actually very pro-religious that even the angels are very human in the way of like he tries to come out and like even in the opening scene, it's that big like the wings like
And the fire.
very
and-
cinematic, dramatic thing, and then it doesn't work for him, and he gets basically shit on,
Right.
and has to go back down to like normal.
Right. What are you? I'm pissed.
And I think a lot of that's about kind of humanizing religion, because I think it gets a very, in the general sense, and I didn't listen to the commentary, so I don't know if this is what Kevin Smith is thinking, but as someone that has directed a movie, like you're trying to find that theme, and I feel like one of the themes is actually humanizing spirituality, that because it is very dramatic. There's so many burning bushes and resurrections and you know, angels going out and doing this and doing these high things. And I feel like Kevin Smith takes it back down, like they're kind of just normal people with superpowers, and they're just trying to do their best. Because even Barnaby and Loki, they, you know, Matt Damon's character ends up switching at the end, that he's like, okay, maybe it's not worth it. Like,
Yeah.
they have all the same emotions that we associate with humanity, but they were just given more responsibility. And one took it as, I don't want to do the bad things anymore. And the switches, you know, and the switch through the end is that it's like the accountant angel that just is good. I'd rather burn it all down. And I think it's a cool commentary to bring everything down to a human level, because it, you know, to humanize all that.
Yeah, I think for sure that scene was one of my favorites. And when I was watching that scene where Metatron is introducing himself to Bethany, I was thinking, oh, this is like their version of the angel Gabriel coming down and telling Mary that she's pregnant. That immediately was like, this is their version of it. It's a hysterical, humanized version of it. And almost like, okay, what would happen if this was going to happen today? Because that would probably be a real reaction out of somebody if
Oh yeah,
like
no,
it's very realistic.
some British guy just shows up with
Right.
wings in my room.
With
No,
fire
thank
burning
you.
on fire.
Yeah.
There's no way you're gonna be like, yeah, this makes so much sense.
$10
That's
I
100%
love
me with
that.
a fire extinguisher. Like, no.
Do you always
I
douse
don't know if
everybody
my
that
home
shows up in your
insurance premium's up to date, guys. No fire
you
inside.
always douse everybody that shows up in your bedroom with fire retardant chemicals?
That's my thing. You come in, I spray you with it. Just make sure that you're safe.
Right.
Yes, but I always make sure that I have a fish on hand. One of the things that I actually went to go see this at a theater in Boston with my son. So when they did the 25th anniversary like tour for this before they put the Blu-ray out, he was supposed to show up and do like a Q&A at the beginning of beginning and end of the film. So he introduces the film, and then he also kind of does a Q&A and like a photo opportunity at the end. And my son got to get a photograph with him, but not in the way that I think he would have wanted to have that done. So we were sitting here, we were waiting for the film to start, and we get up and we walk out of the theater. We're like, okay, we got to go use the restroom before things start. And as we're walking down the aisle, there's Kevin Smith with his people and his wife standing there. And we walked right by him, and first thought in my head was like, was that Kevin Smith? I go, they must be getting things started. We better run back in. So we go to run back in, and then I just decide, okay, I'm gonna try anyway. Hey, look, I know that you're waiting to get in there to do things, man, but like, can my son get a picture with you, right? And he was more than willing. He's, oh yeah, sure. I took a picture with him, and then I had him step away, and my son was trying to get me to take a picture with him. I go, no, this was just for me. Like, I wanted a picture of my son with him, and I didn't want to insult him or anything. It's like, but I think it was just like, I knew that if I didn't go walk back down the aisle at that point, I like Kevin Smith just enough that I probably would have tackled him instead of taking a picture with him. So I'm like, I'm just going to go back to the stage so I'm not escorted out of this fucking place as the crazy guy that tackled him before the movie. But in the middle of that, he did mention, like, when Alan Rickman was filming for the movie, there was a scene where he does the whole wax on, wax off thing. He had never seen The Karate Kid before, ever. And so he's like, I don't understand what this wax on, wax off thing is. And Kevin Smith had to walk him through, like, okay, well, there's a whole thing with Pat Morita. He's teaching him how to do, specific moves, but he's not teaching him, like, he's teaching him how to do chores, which he eventually tells him, okay, well, now these motions that you've learned to do, you're going to use as actual like blocks or moves within your karate routine. And he had to go through the whole thing to teach him how to do that. And this is his interpretation after having never seen the movie. And he said, I didn't even see the movie afterwards. He's like, I've never seen it. This is just my interpretation of how Kevin Smith explained it to me.
Yeah, what a moment teaching Alan Rickman about Karate Kid. May we all be so blessed.
Sometimes as a director, you have specific things in your head that why a joke works or what's the motivation behind it, and it's very specific to you or something that you've seen, and sometimes you have to explain it. Sometimes you just tell them to say the words.
It's like the telephone game. Like, you have to explain to them, and then they have to try to work it into their routine or figure out their interpretation of what you just said to them. Goes from...
Yeah, no, in my movie, like, I ended up actually having to cut a bit because the actor involved had never seen the thing I'm referring to, but also conceptually just was not getting it. I'm like, never mind, we're going to just strike that because you're never going to do that one in the way that's going to make me happy. So let's just move on, guys.
It's going to take too much time to have you watch this enough for me to let you understand why I put this in here.
Yeah, can you go pretend to love this nerd thing so much that this joke is super funny because you love this nerd thing that I love, while you are not that type of person?
Like, you are an actor. Act like you love it.
Act like you understand.
Just pretend that you can act.
Are there anything in particular you felt didn't work in the film?
I mean, I think you got plot holes galore, but like, as someone that has plot holes in their movie, like, you're either going to buy in or you don't. And I think it works because if you buy in to it, especially in the beginning where it has a really strong open, you buy into the universe, you let things go. It's like, you know, the logic doesn't really make a lot of sense sometimes, or, you know, how, wouldn't it just deodorize around the shit demon, not necessarily get rid of the shit demon? Like, you either buy in or you don't. So there are some like logic issues, but it's such a, especially for a Kevin Smith film, such a wide berth of that he's tackling there. Yeah, there's some parts that were a little bit like, oh, that's pretty convenient. But again, you're either buying in for the journey or you don't. And I think that's a thing with watching a film. A lot of people are like, oh, I hate, this is dumb, this little thing. It's like, you just buy into the universe or don't, man.
I was Hell's chief assassin, like knocked out that quickly.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And exactly how much does Jason Mewes smell that he has to keep that around?
Right.
Yeah.
Am I wrong in my assessment? This is probably the first and possibly only Kevin Smith film that you don't absolutely have to love Kevin Smith to watch. I feel like a lot of his films kind of fall into a category if you really like to have his sense of humor to really enjoy the film.
I think this one, and I do think, and I know you're 50-50 on it.
Yeah.
I think Jersey Girl, you can probably get away with it. You don't necessarily have to buy 100% into Kevin Smith to buy into Jersey Girl. You might just like the dynamics because it is a very different movie than some of the like the Mallrats and the Clerks and stuff. But I think this and Jersey Girl are probably the ones that you least have to be bought into Kevin Smith specific dialogue.
Right. Let me qualify that, by the way, by saying, like, I know I said that 50-50 and I don't necessarily like Jersey Girl. I enjoy it enough that I've watched it a couple of times, but of his films, that's probably like bottom rung for me.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of films that kind of Jersey Girl's down here for me anyway. I don't shit on other people's love or interest in other films because, like I said, I am sorry to Matt and Rachel of the Strange and Beautiful Book Club podcast, but even though I kind of fell into kind of nodding along with you guys when you said you didn't like Garbage Pail Kids the movie, it was such fun trash that I did enjoy the trashiness of it. Worst movie that I've ever seen personally, but I like bad movies.
Right.
So
for me, there are just some moments that kind of drag a little bit. I mean, it's a longer film at 2 hours and change. And I know at some point it's probably a little longer. And they, wind up having to cut things down, edit things down.
you're
so
not
like
clamoring
sometimes
for a director's cut at all?
well, I'll stick to my commentary tracks. That gives me all of the extra I need. And so, yeah, it just felt like the pacing sometimes was a little weird, right? Like we introduce the go-go thing, it's this big thing, and then boom, done, right? Spray Emmys out, on to the next thing. But overall, I mean, I did enjoy the film.
I would agree with that. I think there was some spots that definitely lagged a bit. I think if the film had been like maybe 15 minutes shorter, probably would have been like perfect. And I also agree. I think that like most people could probably enjoy this film and find some joy and hilarity in it. Obviously, there's going to be very religious people who are upset with it, whatever. But I think for the most part, this is a film where like if you like kind of like cultural it's like a little bit of cultural commentary on religion. And if you like cultural commentary and like poking fun at like things, I think that most people would probably really just find it funny and entertaining.
I would say even if someone is super religious, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe watch it still and see like what you get out of that
I completely agree.
experience, right? Like, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to just entirely write it off because you're going in with the lens that like this is satirical and is making fun of something I believe in, because I think a lot of it is pretty modest in its presentation of like, of Catholicism. So
I actually think that I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of Catholics haven't watched it because they've been told, oh, like, it's making fun of our religion, and then actually end up really enjoying it. Even people who are pretty religious, I think they would find something that they really enjoy about the film. Because I know a lot of very, like, traditional Catholics who have questioned and asked questions and things, and I think because it doesn't actually, like, it's very respectful in a way. It's not like being like, "Oh, God doesn't exist," or anything. It is bringing things into question that have been talked about in circles. So I actually think that more people would probably enjoy it if they gave themselves a chance to watch it. I think it's a very good point.
I mean, and God is the height of, 2000s music with Alanis Morissette anyway. So,
If you
and such a delightful, just like on a positive, such a delightful like take on it. Like the glee of like she blows up that guy's head and then like goes play with the flowers.
Yeah. Oh, I loved God. Like the fact that God was a woman who's very like whimsical and just like funny. Like the one of the end scenes where Bethany's like, "Well, why all this?" She just like pokes her on the nose. Like I was like,
the
"Oh,
boop.
that's
Oh,
Yeah.
the boop
the
is so
little
good.
like little boop boop." I was like, "That is so like that is fantastic."
how do you
And again, I think it goes to like you're taking this too seriously.
Yes.
And even the figure that is God is like, bring it down, man.
Yeah.
We're all just here.
So just a quick question. Alanis Morissette, she played God at the very end of the film. Originally, before they started filming, originally, he wanted Alanis Morissette to play the Bethany character in the film, but she had a tour that interfered with the whole thing, so she was able to come in at the end and be God for the film, which was part of I don't think that was written in the very last part where she cleans up the whole street and everything and makes it, pristine again. I think that was just sort of something that he did at the church's request that he worked in front of. He's like, "Oh, we need you to clean this all up. You just can't leave all this here." He cleaned up everything and just kind of made it like God cleaned up the street. How do you think the movie would have differed a little bit if we had Alanis Morissette in that role, or if he had his first choice, of having Adam Sandler in the Azrael role?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes our initial casting ideas are not good. Adam Sandler specifically. Not that he can't do dramatic, but God, that would have ruined that role. It just doesn't fit right. I've never seen Alanis Morissette act in anything else, though. And I don't know if she's been in something else. I think that Bethany would have been a really hard lift for a non-actor. I think that cameo role and like the ability to have fun with it, I think probably played to the strength of having someone that hasn't done a lot of acting. I think the Bethany role has a lot of self-doubt in there, which is, very much part of her arc. And I mean, maybe she's amazing. There's, first time actors that do amazing things all the time. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know if I'm betting a few $100 million on that working out.
I'm wondering if there's like an audition tape out there somewhere that made him believe that she has that kind of range.
I don't
I'd
know.
watch it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it included in any of these these releases that he's put out, so I'm just wondering. Like, hey,
Yeah, I mean, not to doubt that she might be a phenomenal actor. I just more that there's nothing out there to really see.
well,
Her music has certainly went from.
has she acted in anything?
There's some happy and there's some
outside
very less happy stuff.
Right.
Like, I'm looking at it now. Okay, she was in City of Angels, I guess. That's it.
Well, that's on brand.
Yeah. No, my apologies. That's just the soundtrack. I'm looking to see if she was actually an actor in anything else. Like,
Yeah,
it looks
but
like she's
the
done some voice
Bethany-
acting.
Okay. Yeah, the Bethany character though, right? Like it is a lot to play this character that's like having this really hard internal struggle and like this investigation and deconstruction of like her religion and her place in it and how she operates, right? She works at an abortion clinic, how she justifies these things. And I agree that like Alanis Morissette songs do cover a pretty wide range of emotions, but sometimes that doesn't translate into acting. So
Oh, she was in another Kevin Smith movie. She went from being God in this film to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back as that woman.
nice.
Slight downgrade.
Yeah. I think you started at the peak and probably should have stayed there.
Possibly. All right. So one final question to sort of wrap things up here today. So I had posed this to everybody before we got started. Actually, I'm not sure if you passed this on to Zahra here before we did
I have
things
not.
today. But the question is, if you had the chance to basically create a movie that was controversial on a controversial subject, that basically you're going to have people protest like they protested Dogma, what would the subject be about, and how would you go about slipping yourself into the picket line to give your movie just a little bit of extra promotion?
I could start because I at least got the question ahead of time. But as my current movie got slightly review bombed because I have LGBTQ characters in it. Or at least that's the assumption. We got messages the same time. We got somehow the 10s match the 1s on IMDb for like
That's a
48
horrible
hours.
reason to downrate a movie.
Again, maybe it's something else. Maybe just a whole bunch of people hated it at the exact same time in the same ratio as the 10s. Who knows?
Who knows?
But we got emails. Anyway, not going to bitch about that. Done plenty of that on my own time. But maybe not my next thing that I'm currently working on the script. The one after is going to be the most LGBTQ movie that has ever existed. And I would go and do a like a Mrs. Doubtfire birdcage type of thing where I'd go full drag, but I'd be the most beautiful woman, slip into the crowd, maybe flirt with some weirdly bigoted people, and then reveal, which hopefully I don't get arrested for.
So a lot of waxing, a lot of shaving, and some...
Oh, there'd be so much wax. I mean, I'm not like level 3 Robin Williams Harry, but like there's a lot to go.
Got to add like a religious aspect to it so you can get a lot of the Christians out there protesting again.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe I'll do like a Betty Bowers from Facebook, like that very like the Republican woman. I'll do like the swoop.
Yeah. The Karen cut.
Yeah, I'll go full Karen cut with it.
Just go ask John Waters how he set up some of his characters, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're saying the most LGBTQ movie out there, but Pink Flamingos does exist, so...
I'm gonna like take the soul of John Waters and we're gonna work on it together.
Sounds
Baltimore
good to me.
local. So
Not too far down.
Trying to think of controversial subjects that would trigger a lot of people. LGBTQ is definitely a big one. Trans rights, so on and so forth. That's kind of like touches home personal for me. My son is trans, so I mean that's something I would lean into because apparently that is a very controversial subject right now. So to
Because a
be
lot of people are
very
assholes.
specific, I would make probably one of the most, how do I put this? Trans, I want to say half trans, half cisgender movie. But I just, the most trans accepting movie that I could think to make. And then I would have my son and his friends incorporate themselves into the crowd. Because they're very, very nice kids. I mean, some of the most polite kids that you'd ever meet. And just have them incorporate themselves into the crowd while also maybe starring in the film.
yeah.
You let me know. I'll have my kids and their friends come.
Right?
Yeah, we'll do a joint effort on that protest.
Yeah.
Sounds
One
good
of the
to
things
me.
I'm thinking about, like, you know, some of the people that get under my skin are the ones who like think they're going to become a billionaire, but like they've been in the same situation for their entire life. Like these people are working against you. They're not your friend, right? Like giving them a tax cut is not helping you. So it's some film about like the person who like is just supporting billionaires in every way they think that they can because it'll help them. And then, in the protest, there's someone on YouTube, Walter Masterson, who does a lot of this. And there's some other guy, Randy something, I forget. But they go to the protests and, they're big and loud and saying all these crazy things to get people to try to agree with them. And, I'd slowly try to shift it into like,
Like a
yeah,
Jordan
and why don't they
Jordan
give us
Klepper,
more
that's
money?
what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Jordan Klepper types, that's sort of where I'm at with this.
By the way, Jordan Klepper, if you're listening to me, I would petition to be Bob in any live action Bob's Burgers movie because you have the voice.
That is
That's
true.
He kind of looks like him. He has the voice. Anyway, but
Christian, I like Bootlicker the movie.
Bootlicker
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah. Bootlicker the movie. There you go. Do you have-
I would probably honestly do something similar to this. I think I would almost do like a modern retelling of like something religious related, potentially like God being trans or like a member of the LGBTQ community, and seeing like just how that functions, because people would riot. People would be very upset over seeing God as non-binary, which God is.
Right.
God is non-binary,
By
but like making that
Biblical standards, they are they them.
Yes. Yes. So I think like I would like to kind of like make a movie drawing attention to that and like potentially retelling a bunch of biblical stories with a character like that would be really interesting. And I don't know how I would like sneak myself in somehow. I don't know. I'm very crafty. I can get pretty like mean and mean spirited. I'd probably like go and protest out there and then say something wild and be like,
Oh,
actually, that is my film. Yes, I would probably do something similar to this whole film we've been discussing.
there you go. Roll.
It's such
Yeah.
a shame that Bowie's gone.
Yeah.
You could have had
Right.
Bowie do the most androgynous
Yes.
Bowie.
Right.
Oh, Bowie, like his like the Ziggy Stardust era
You could
androgyny.
you could have Adam Lambert do it.
Yeah.
I mean-
but I feel like he's got a lot already.
Yeah.
He already took Queen on.
I mean, you could actually roll all the ideas into one, really. Just a highly religious movie that focuses heavily on LGBTQ issues and why the church keeps funding billionaires while it does nothing to them but to benefit them outside of maybe those, what do you call the stadium pastors?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so
Mega
guys, I'm gonna
church.
pitch this
Mega
to you.
churches.
We're gonna do. It's gonna be the LGBTQ community, like assaulting conversion camps run by billionaires that are making money off of it, and the climax is that a fully non-binary God comes down, and we smote, and then we have a pink flamingos. Drag
That
dance
sounds
party.
great.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic. Love
Somebody
it.
brings Divine back from the dead who happens to be God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there, yeah.
That's so good.
Oh, Divine as God. That actually,
That's really good.
rest in peace, Divine. But honestly, I would love that just from the. Hey, what about John
It'd be
Waters
great.
as God?
I'd be for it. I feel like I kind of like the idea of
Divine, yeah.
and all the angels just being so tired, like they won't stop screeching. They won't stop screeching.
Oh,
No,
boy.
no, no, Tyler, it's your turn to go talk to them. Like people are annoyed with God.
Right, just God being every single thing that they've railed against for some reason. You know, it's like, okay, well, yeah, but did you ask me? I mean, did you
Yeah,
really
no.
ask me, or did you just decide this on your own? You know, that whole thing where, what we believe on earth, you believe up in heaven. Did you ask me if that's actually how this is going to work? No.
Pretty sure it's the exact opposite. I feel like that was just like, let me have an excuse to tell the people that, we shall go on the divine path of stealing land and beating people.
It's like, did you actually listen to my apostles, or did you just listen to the people who interpreted the apostles and put everything down into text.
I mean, to be fair, Rufus said it the best is that, he was there. He was the only honest apostle.
Yeah.
So we should have listened to Chris Rock instead.
Right. The Rufus was written out just like those 30 years were written out.
Yep.
Yep.
30 years and can't have a black friend.
Well, thank you, Kris and Zahra, for joining us today for the podcast. And remember, you can find Kris's movie, The Misfits, now available on Prime Video for purchase or for rent. I own my copy. Go get yours. What are you waiting for? Jeez. Or if you're waiting for physical media, we'll make sure to post that whenever that comes up.
You can have both.
Yeah, why not have both? Have the digital. I like physical media because one of these days, like Kevin Smith said, the cloud is going to rain, and then you're not going to have what you had in the digital universe. You're going to want that physical copy of what you were watching. So pick up physical media wherever you can.
Don't piss up.
Don't piss up. Sorry, that reminds me of one part of the movie. They're like, you let some kid piss in your hair when you were like 8. What? My favorite scene. There you go. My favorite scene in the movie where he tells, he goes, tell me something that people don't know. When you're doing it, you're thinking of guys.
Yeah.
That was classic. That was so
Not
funny.
all the time.
And now Jay's been outed as at least bi throughout the rest of his films. All right. Thank you again. And
Well, thank you for having me.
of course, anytime.
Pleasure.
And as my good friend Nico is always fond of saying, but she's never with us anymore, drink some water, you thirsty bitches.